Well, we really just wanted a different experience than we had with our first. He was born in the hospital with midwives, but it was a hospital setting, and there were just things that we really just didn't love about it. And I knew I just wanted something different. My prenatal care at Origins was really amazing because it really just felt like I was kind of just coming and like hanging out with my friends, and I never felt rushed. I felt like they really cared about me. They really cared about my baby, and just covered all the bases every time I came. Like a lot of times I never even had questions because I felt like they answered them in my prenatal appointments before I could even ask them.
It's just so much more comfortable and natural, and like you can tell that they love the babies, and so they love what they do, and you can tell like the passion of the midwives. So it was a whole new experience, and it was awesome.
After we had our first, and then we decided on our second for Origins, we lived in East Texas at the time. So we ended up coming about 2.5 hours to have him here, which was kind of scary, but worked out really, really well. And it was beautiful, and it just worked out wonderful. And then so we were super blessed that for our third baby, we lived in Fort Worth again. So of course we knew, from there that we would have him here. And it was just so similar. It was just comfortable and beautiful, and I've never felt closer to God spiritually than I did in that moment, and just surrounded by people that I knew loved me and loved my baby, and just bringing him into both of them into just like beautiful, calm, peaceful places. So with our first in the hospital, as soon as I got there, I was already in active labor, and it was immediately asking me questions, poking me with needles to get my blood, making me wait and triage, even though I was obviously already in labor. And it was kind of more of like a scary experience, like to be at the hospital and just not know what was going on. I didn't feel like it was explained to me well, whereas at Origins, the midwives walk you through what it's going to look like. What are the alternatives if something doesn't go as you planned? And I feel like the midwives really prepare you for if something happens and they have trouble breathing, or we do need to go somewhere else, this is what it's going to look like. So you really have a calmness of knowing what alternatives might look like.
The hospital was so much more procedural. It was like they were just trying to fit you into the checklist of everything they have to do, and there's not really that relationship. Whereas when we came to Origins, my first hesitation with midwives was just like, is the confidence going to be there? Like, you feel scared going away from that hospital setting, but you can just tell all the experience they've had, and it's so much more of a relationship with them, but they also do check all those boxes of like, that you're taken care of and your baby's taken care of, and they just do it in a more relatable way, and so you don't have to worry about it. And that's the biggest thing for me is, I can let this go, and I can relax, and I can enjoy the experience.
You have all of these expectations leading up to having the baby, but you don't know what's going to happen. It doesn't matter if you've not had a baby before, or you've had 5 babies before. Everything is so different. And so just the actual birth experience being as beautiful as it was, and being so, a little bit redemptive with my second, because the first wasn't beautiful and it wasn't what I wanted it to be, even though technically everything in the hospital went right and there was no major thing that happened wrong. But I felt like I was robbed of this experience I had seen, online and in videos. And so I think actually getting to experience that, and even though it was painful, absolutely, but it was also beautiful. And so I think, I can't think of it. It seems wrong to say another memory would be better, because just actually living that out and it being what I wanted it to be was just so special.
I've got little snippets of memories from the first one, but from the Origins experience, it's like a feeling. Being the first person that gets to hold him and gets to hand him to my wife is it's just a feeling that you'll never forget.
So postpartum is really different with Origins, because, well, first of all, you get to go home after you have your baby, and you're not staying in the hospital and getting poked and prodded on in the middle of the night and woken up to check your blood pressure. And so that's nice. And they really prepare you for, what to look for. Because I felt nervous the first time, because I was just like, well, am I capable of doing this? Can I go home with my baby and take care of him right away? Because after having him in the hospital and staying for 3 days, but they give you all the information you need. And then it's really great because I didn't get to do this with our second at Origins, but now they send, you can choose for them to have one of the midwives just come to your house after, I think it's on day 1 postpartum or day 2. And you don't even have to leave. You get to stay at home in your bed with your new baby, and one of the midwives will just come and do everything and check on you. They're not just worried about the baby. They're worried about you, and they're checking on you and asking you questions about your recovery and your emotional state, which doesn't happen when you use an OB at all. They're not worried about how you're feeling. So that's really nice. And it's nice just not to have to leave. And, they really talk about how important rest is postpartum, which I did not know with my first. I had no idea. And they really talk about just that. So you have that bonding time with your baby because they pretty much order you to. And it's amazing to be able to have that.
You can really rely on them because they're so good at what they do that you can take it in and take a step back and enjoy the experience and remember it. And they have everything to take care of you and to make sure, it's safe, it's fun, and it's a celebration. So you finally get to step back and just enjoy your baby.
And I think coming from my perspective, because, and I think this is normal, that husbands are a little more hesitant about the whole out-of-hospital birth thing. And so I feel like Greg definitely was not just immediately on board, like, yes, let's have a baby out of the hospital. But once he came and he met with the midwives and he asked the questions he wanted to ask and saw the birth center and kind of had a better idea of what it was going to be like, he felt so much more comfortable with it. So I would say if you are on the fence about it, whether you're the dad or the mom, but I think it tends to be dads a little more, just be open and come up here and do a tour and ask all the questions you want to ask. And they're so open to talking to you about it and giving you all that information that will make you feel so much more confident in that decision.